Everyone, in Psalm 32, we are thankful for forgiveness. Happy are those whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Happy are those whose sin the Lord doesn't hold against them, and whose spirit there is no deceit. When I kept quiet, my body wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy on me. My strength was dried up as in the heat of summer. Then I acknowledged my sin to you. I did not hide my guilt. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. Now, the word confession, not a word we really like, brings up a lot of negative images, either sitting, in that stereotypical Catholic booth while a priest listens to all the bad things that you've done, or maybe you're being interrogated by detectives under a hot lamp. We don't want either of those sorts of confession. And, the problem is we apply either of those images to God, which is probably not the best move to make. That God is either trying to work a confession out of us, or God is just wanting us to list all these bad things and then give us a list of things to do. As bad as confession sounds to us, or what we imagine it might be, the psalm is saying that keeping that sin in is actually worse. You ever had some secret thing you did, some failure you haven't told anybody about? And you know how that just kind of eats at you over time. This is what this psalm is talking about. It's like their body is wasting away, they're saying. And when you've done something wrong, sometimes it does feel like that. It's like God's hand is heavy on us, they say. But in reality, God just wants us to be honest with ourselves. I mean, God already knows about all those mistakes, right? God isn't holding it against you, we're holding it in, and that's the problem. Confession is actually a blessing because when we open ourselves up to the forgiveness that is already right there, that God is already trying to give us. And I'm not going to set up a confession booth in my office. I mean, if you need to come talk about something, you're always welcome to, because there is actually power in confessing to somebody else. Because it makes it more real when we hear that person offer forgiveness. And that way we know we're not just forgiving ourselves, but we're experiencing God's forgiveness. God technically is the only one who can forgive sins in that sense. But God has given us a mission of forgiveness. This world is such an unforgiving and graceless place. So let's share this gift, as hard as it may be to take that first step of confession. I'll confess, I'm not very good at it. But together, we can thank God for the healing that comes when we open ourselves up to the grace God is offering all the time.